Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well. And salutations to the Yakim out there laboring of the hopeful elect that's doing this work in truth and sincerity. And we're in the midst of witnessing, the collapse of society. And pretty much, a lot of these social issues are pretty much coming into the face of the American people. And one of these issues that I have a video here before us, and this is concerning squatters, okay? And squatters pretty much is a person that occupies an apartment or a house, and pretty much it doesn't have to be vacant, you see, as far as an abandoned house, because there's a lot of cases where you have pretty much drug addicts or people that are pretty much homeless that are pretty much taking over unoccupied properties and pretty much living in them and claiming it as their own. But now, pretty much since the pandemic, you see now a growing number of people that pretty much that work a regular 9 to 5 and are pretty much having a tough time making ends meet, and pretty much are deciding not to pay the landlord anymore. And depending on what part of the country you live in, you cannot just get rid of them by force. And there is a long, drawn out and backlogged process to actually get these people out of the apartment legally, and it's weighing on homeowners. It's weighing on people as far as their quality of living within these neighborhoods, and we're going to start to see a growing number of this even more on a larger scale, because with the perfect cocktail of destruction, concerning the downward spiral in the economy, the devaluing of the dollar, got strong countries with resources pretty much moving away from the dollar and pretty much working their way around sanctions, that this place imposes upon them. And we're going to start to see a collapse within Babylon. But I'm going to play this video. We're going to hit some scriptures and we're going to do some commentary on that. And without any further ado,
taking over America, a growing number of homeowners are being tormented by people living freely in houses they don't own and refusing to leave. Lawrence actually went to Jacksonville, Florida to meet with some property owners who claimed their home was ravaged.
So when y'all came for the first time in here to look at all of this, what was going through y'all's mind?
Your heart just drops and you just wonder what kind of people can do this.
I'm just curious, if you guys decided we're just going to barge in and take our property back.
We would have been arrested.
Y'all would have been arrested?
We were told that very clearly. Very clearly. Do not attempt to remove them.
And let me just add something real quick to this though, because here in the workplace, I over here, Jake, pretty much having conversations amongst themselves, and these guys are pretty much property owners, and they pretty much have headaches on their hands right now. Pretty much a growing number of people are having a hard time collecting rent from their tenant, and they are going through the channels of trying to get them evicted. But again, the court system being backlogged and everything else, they have to basically bear the expenses, because pretty much, these individuals were depending on the rent of that tenant to pay for the property itself. But now, they're basically footing the bill for something to where, they're paying more than what they bargained for as far as, mortgage is concerned. For an example, somebody that may have a mortgage of maybe, let's say, a scale of around number of $3,000, but the rental property will generate an income of maybe $2,500, you see, so they will only have to come out with $500 to cover that mortgage. But now they're on the hook for the full $3,000, you see. plus other expenses that may impose, you know, and this is causing headaches for people. You see, so we're gonna start to see a great number of this on the rise in these major cities. But let's continue.
But it's not just Jacksonville. It's a big problem in Philly, where eviction can cost thousands. A legal expert there says squatters appear to have the upper hand. And in Minneapolis, a group of violent squatters infiltrated an apartment building, causing residents to fear for their safety. One person says she suffered a broken bone when she tried to stop a squatter from stealing her mail.
We're sending out agents, and they're figuring out that there's squatters in these properties, and it's hard getting them out.
They've broken through a wall. They've broken a hole into the wall into a storage room.
And look at this right here. This is supposed to be an apartment building, and it's supposed to be a rent drop box, okay? Where people pretty much put the rent in, you know, via money order or check. They done ripped out the daggone area where the box will be placed. You see? And you're showing how times are getting desperate for people, man. You know? And with this downward spiral in the economy and inflation, you know, coming up on a rise, pretty much you're going to see more of this. People are going to be living in pretty much desperation.
Right? And they're in there. I feel abandoned, and I feel like I'm living in a garbage dump.
Lawrence, tell us more about your interviews.
I mean, you'll see it on Cross Country, but I mean, these people had a fake lease. The cops knew it was fake, but they have no discretion anymore. They printed out fake payments to landlords, and because of the legal system, they get 30 days. The plaintiffs have to make a case in court. And in the meantime, they're trashing the place. And guess what? After they're done and they lose, they get evicted and they just move on to the next house. It's not just Jacksonville. It's happening all across the country. And it's not just the people that are selling their homes. Say you want to go to vacation for 2 weeks. Come back. There's a couple that have moved into your house. They decided to put pictures up, make it look like their house. You call the cops. The cops, they say, hey, look, this is our spot. You're going to go, not them. So you got to protect yourself. Make sure you have cameras, locks on your doors, because unfortunately, until they change the laws, the cops can't come save you.
Well, and this is one of the antidotes that there's no antidote for this. You know, this is pretty much clearly part of the design of how you're going to break down society. You know, and this is just so how it goes. You know, you see a growing number of homeless people, you know, in bus stations and pretty much in public places, you know, and pretty much anywhere they can get some type of warmth and shelter, you know, they're pretty much occupying these spots, you see, and there's nothing that the cops can do, you know. So, you know, everything has to be done through the long process of the judicial system, but to no avail because of these backlogs and them pretty much dragging their feet, you know, and they pretty much know what they're doing because the laws can be easily changed, you know. All right, there's no healing for this place, man, you know, and it's going to be more heartache for all parties involved, man, you know.
Yeah, the cops can't come save you because even if you say, look, I want to file a trespass charge against these people, the cops maybe might consider it, but at the very least that identifies the first date that you've complained of them squatting on your property. The cops are most likely going to say, this is a civil case, you got to go to landlord-tenant court or whatever it's called. Every state has different rules for landlord-tenant. There are certain states that are very tenant-friendly, New York, New Jersey. Tenant unfriendly Pennsylvania, and it goes on like that. So you could end up trying for a year to get people out. But there's one interesting point in all of this. First of all, they can damage your property, and they can be worth nothing, and you sue them. I mean, you may not even know who they are, and you'll never get a judgment, or you'll never get the judgment paid, the lien paid.
And look at this one here. All right, look at this picture closely, brothers. Okay, they actually tried to keep the squatters out by actually putting sheetrock over the existing door. Okay, but what they pretty much did was break down the sheetrock and pretty much open the door so they can be able to gain entry. So any way way that they, you cut it, they can invade these properties and pretty much live in it, man. And there's nothing you can do about it, And again, if you use force, okay, because certain states, where if somebody enters your property, you can use castle law, pretty much in certain states, or where you can pretty much defend yourself or defend your property, depending on the certain jurisdiction, But a lot of these major cities, man, they're very tenant friendly. You see, all right. But let's get some scriptures real quick, and then we'll get back to this. All right. Let's go with Salakia. What's my scriptures at? Okay. Salakia, brothers. Okay, here we go. Okay. This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 14. And the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his own vomit. And pretty much the breaking down of society, and pretty much men is doing whatever the hell they want to do. And this pandemic pretty much showed you that. After this pandemic, when we came out of it, you notice that people are taking more chances with breaking the law. Things are being done more in broad daylight. There's no regard for police action. People are pretty much being more brazen to commit crimes. You're seeing a lot of this happening, and even when you're going down to basic traffic laws, you got people that are pretty much are running a steady red light more often now, knowing that they're gonna pretty much get away with it, and knowing that pretty much cops are not really doing much to pursue certain crimes, especially low-level crimes. And low-level crimes is pretty much the breaking down of a society, man. Those little petty crimes, man, because those little petty crimes is what leads to much larger problems. You see? And it says, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So from top people, making the big 6 figures or more, to down to the person that pretty much is a minimum wage, man. There's gonna be no work for this place, because of with the spiraling economy, the dollar weakening more and more daily, and pretty much, and they're not talking about it. But there's a lot of job cuts that's going on, and pretty much it's starting with pretty much the tech sector, when you got these high-paying jobs where these people are out of work, and it's going to be a trickling effect right alongside the high rise and cost of food. You see, all right, and energy as well. You see, but it says, in that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. And the Lord is causing all these things to happen, man. Everything is happening in its perfect perfection to bring the society down, and it's done pretty much systematically. There's a lot of, movable parts or certain situational dilemmas that this place is basically facing. When you want to talk about, as far as the quality of the water, the food, being destroyed, the Lord sending plagues upon this place as far as with weather, tornadoes, pretty much in this things that are systematically being destroyed as far as concerning the water and food supply. You see, and then that will lead to much more problems like what we're talking about now, because a lot of this no working and pretty much that's going to lead to homelessness. You see. Homelessness is pretty much going to be the main thing that's going on in this place, as far as the downward spiral of quality of life. You see, all right. And it says, "And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in itself, because of the counsel of Yahweh hosts, which ye have determined against it." And speaking about this right now is a terror unto these people, man. Okay, this is why they're basically trying to stop this word, man. It's because what? We're speaking about these things. Okay? All right, the distraction period is pretty much over with, man. You know, they're going to keep on trying to throw distractions out there for the everyday citizen, which is not going to pretty much take heed to this word anyway, you know, and it's really for Jake. But pretty much, you know, they are. This is a terror, man. This is something that they cannot sweep under the rug, you know. All right, people still have it in their mind that the coming of the Lord, basically the doom of this place is not going to be in their generation, man. They really believe that. You know, people pretty much still feel like they got a shot in this place. You see, you know, that's what they say in their mind. That you know, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. You know, they in their hearts and minds, they pretty much would want this place to be healed. You know, but all roads lead to a downward spiral, man, and utter destruction, man. You see, all these parts are pretty much coming into play. You know, and we're talking about the domestic front of things. You know, we're starting to see, you know, pretty much the quality of life pretty much go downhill. You know, the laws are pretty much lax also with mental health people, man. You got a lot of people that are roaming the streets now with mental health issues, and that's done by design. Okay, they pretty much cutting the funding of these people. You know, they're not getting the proper medication, they're not getting the proper counseling and help, and they're pretty much out in the lamb on their own. And this is only adding to the problem. You see, and a very lax drug environment. You know, when you talk about places like New York and San Francisco, you know, pretty much drug use is permitted out in the open now. You know, people pretty much shooting up out in the open, you know, with no fear and no consequences. You see, those little petty crimes like that is what breaks a society down, man. You know, the little petty crimes, man. You know, and they understand that. Okay, they understand that. The people that are trying to systematically dismantle this place, okay, understand that these petty crimes is what really basically starts to break down a society. You know, quality of living goes to the crapper, man. You see, but let's get back to this.
The lien paid. But there's something called adverse possession. So when someone is living in property, and I learned this in law school, if it is open, continuous, exclusive, adverse, notorious, ocean, they ultimately can gain title to that property as though they own the property. And so people have to be careful. You have to be very on top of your own property and know what the law is in your jurisdiction. Because they could say, I've been there for 5 years, I own this place.
Well, Jesse, it's interesting.
And that's pretty much coming from the judge. She's a judge. And that pretty much is coming from the judges themselves. You see? Okay, so now, you know, this is not just something that's just being thrown in the air and people are you know, just giving out their vain opinion, you know? All right? You know, this is all the counsel of the Lord anyway, bringing, you know, these things down. But pretty much, you know, she stands for the so-called law of this land. Okay? You see? So she understands to where, you know, the strength is for them to sit still, man. You know?
Obviously, during the pandemic, there were all of these moratoriums on evictions, and it really changed the face of how people are living. And it seems now that the system is just being completely abused.
Correct.
Okay.
There are 3 options on how to handle a squatter.
Oh.
Option number 1, you turn off all of the utilities. So you turn off the power and you turn off the water. Treat them like a rope.
Here come Carnal Esau coming in with his antidote for these situations. And even with the cutting off the utilities, even in certain jurisdictions, that's even a crime against the owner.
Nation, and you might have a humanitarian crisis on your hand, but that's what you have to do. We did
That's
it
not
in
going to
Iraq
work, Jesse.
and
Guess
Afghanistan.
what? This couple tried to do that.
then you go
Can't
to
do it.
option number 2.
Legally, you can't
Which
do
is
it.
you out squat the squatter. You stake them out in the morning. If they leave, then you go in with a notarized lease or the deed and you get in. And then when they come back, you say, sorry, now I'm calling the cops and you have to get out of here.
You can't do that
What if
either.
they never
You get
leave?
charged with criminal trespass.
Option, not if you have a notarized lease or a
But what
deed.
if they don't
You're
leave?
there first.
That's why he
If
has
they
a
don't
third
leave,
option.
Are not going to enforce it.
if they don't leave, you go option number 3, which is the legal route, which is my least preferred route. And you might have to take, sometimes, Judge, you're right, it could take 8 months
Oh, yeah.
for this to be
Absolutely.
adjudicated because in some of these jurisdictions, they treat a tenant and a squatter the same.
Yep.
So good luck. If you know an arsonist, you can also go that right.
Oh,
I don't recommend that.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's just the corner mine of E again, you know, saying that there's another option would be to be an arsonist, man, and to basically, you know, and this man is basically the destroyer of the earth, man. Okay, that's the mind of a damn devil. Yeah, you know, for you to go ahead and take measures to burn your own property down. Okay, and in his mind, he would go as far as doing such. You see? All right. So now you got to remember something now. So now if it's clearly arson, okay, guess what? Any insurance that you may think that you may be collecting on that property, you're not going to get. So you're just going to be shit out of luck. You see? So you know the counsel of the damn devil is to naught, man. Okay? All right? And the Lord said these things are going to happen, man. Okay? Let's get real quick. Let's go to Second Esdras. Okay? You see? The mind of the damn devil, okay? With his bright ideas. Okay? All right? This is Second Esdras chapter 15. Let's go to verse let's see. Let's go to let's start at 12. This is Second Esdras chapter 15, verse 12. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. And the plagues are coming, okay, and the punishments are coming, man. Okay, that's what's coming upon this place is pretty much all the plagues that the Lord is bring upon here. And it goes this. It says, verse 13, and they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail. You know, wind and hail, tornadoes, just inclement weather, pretty much are destroying the crops. They're pretty much in destroying the harvest of these crops. Okay, and a fearful consolation, man. And with the careful consolations is pretty much this inclement weather, man. You know, and it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. You know, and pretty much, you know, that's what you're gonna see. Okay, you're pretty much gonna see people rising up against each other. All right, for whatever various situations that they're placed upon, man. You know, okay, pretty much people are going to get desperate in whatever measures, and they're gonna have to go out and go take, you know, to be able to you know, live. You see, okay, and it says, for there shall be sedition among men, and we're starting to see that now. Okay, but we're gonna start to see it more on a grander scale when this setup that we have as we know it, this financial system pretty much goes through a chaotic stage and fails. Okay, because for them to bring in, they already have the new setup, the reset. They already have it set up now, but pretty much now they have to cause the old system to go in a chaotic state and pretty much fail. Okay, to bring in the new one. Okay, it's not going to be a smooth transition, so to speak. Okay, all right. They pretty much have these you know, they pretty much have the answer. You know, problem, action, solution. You already had that situated, but the road in the, you know, the trial to get there, okay, is what's going to cause people to bug out. Okay, but it says, for there shall be a sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You see that? And man's going to take it upon themselves to be the vigilante, A man's going to take it upon himself to go ahead and do whatever he wants to do and not regard the law, man. Okay? You're already seeing that on a lower scale, but you can see the mentality of what people are doing, and pretty much, you know, the people pretty much outnumber the set standard of restraint as far as lawmen is concerned. Okay? You know, the lawmen right now, we're talking about your policemen and your local sheriffs, you know, they're pretty much now going to be in a situation to where they're just trying to collect a paycheck and make it home safely, man. Okay? Because they're seeing that the climate has changed, man. And the people are not regarding and not respecting men of authority, man. Okay? You see? And it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and should not be able. You know, and they're going to have to section places off. You know, they're going to have to declare pretty much martial law. You know, they're going to have to pretty much find measures to subdue the people and keep it the people controlled within a certain jurisdictions to have pretty much better oversight over it. You see? And it says, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, their houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. You know? And pretty much, man, men are going to be locking themselves in the house, you know, instead of, you know, and to basically to try to keep people out, you know. And it says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. You see, and that's pretty much what's happening, man. You know, and this is what you're going to see the cusp of, man. The cusp of people's houses that's being invaded, looking for food, you know, okay? You see, pretty much, hey man, you know, people are going to give your house a shot. They're going to give your house a shot to take and look through it, man. Break in and see what resources they can get out of it, man. Okay, you see, all right. But that's pretty much what's going on here, man. You know, this is another you know antidote of the breaking down of the society. All right, let's continue.
I don't recommend that.
He goes right to the line. He never crosses.
I think he crossed it,
right now?
Jillian, we'd like to clean that up a little bit.
I would like to be invisible, so that nobody
Well, you're on
can see
TV,
me right now.
at least for the next...
I was going to say, you know, you mentioned the federal moratorium on evictions, so that ended, and then also at the same time there were federal and state rental assistance programs. All those have now just expired in the course of 3 months. So that's why.
That's another thing. That's another antidote. Now, that's another way of destroying the people. The way of people living is ending these programs, man. These rental assistance programs, Section 8, and other federal and state programs that help assist people in their rent. Okay, they said that pretty much it expired, man. Okay, so you're gonna have more and more people pretty much falling into the state of near homelessness, man. You know, not being able to make ends meet, not being able to pay rent, and pretty much they're gonna become squatters themselves, man. Okay. But that's really the point I wanted to make, because I wanted to catch that piece of it when she mentioned that. Let's see if they see anything else behind that.
We're seeing a proliferation of squatters. It's because all these people who couldn't afford rent, but were living rent-free essentially during the pandemic, are now getting kicked out on their bums and have nowhere to go. So they're invading other people's homes. I think that's why this is going on. So how you solve it, I have no idea. But I will also
plus no arson.
Right.
I think it's a chain reaction, just like pretty much she's alluding to, man. You know, okay? You have people that pretty much had their household intact and pretty much were able to make ends meet. But now, you know, it's becoming a situation to now where the people that were making ends meet will become squatters themselves, man. You know, and hey, man, it's like I said, it's a beautiful thing to be open to this truth, man, and understand, you know, what the will of the Lord is at the end of the day, man. You know, I'm gonna close with this precept. This is Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. So before the doors of repentance are closed, you better reverence who's bringing these things upon us. Okay, all right, and the reason why, and understand what the will of the Lord is, man, for what the elect are supposed to be doing, and pretty much, his will in the earth, man. All right, and what he intends to accomplish. Okay, and it says, remember that now thy Creator in days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. And it's going to come a point in time where the average citizen is going to have no pleasure in the days that are coming. They're starting to see that little seep of bitter taste in their mouth, but they can't really, they don't have the eyes to see. They're still pretty much thinking that this place is going to turn over a new leaf and come out of whatever funk that it's in. And this is not going to be the case, man. Okay? There's too many things that are going on to not have this place recover, man. Okay? It says, while the sun, nor the light, or the moon, or the stars be darkened, or nor the clouds return after the rain. In them dark days, man. Where there's no vision. Where the truth is not going to be around, pretty much, man. You see? You better come into reckoning of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay? And what his intent is. All right, in spirit and truth. Okay, and it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, man. And you cannot see what's gonna be far off, man. Okay, you're gonna be lucky to just get past the next hour, man. Okay, you see, it says the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, man. Okay. So it doesn't matter from the muscle bound man or the man with the with the large collection of firearms. It's not going to fare well with these people, man. And it says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sounding of the grinding is low. Talking about your businesses and really your households now, because once these businesses start to shut down, okay, pretty much people are going to start shutting down their own houses, man. Because why? It's because the chain reaction. Again, people not being able to work, and then people pretty much invading one another, looking for food, looking for resources, looking for shelter. Okay? You see? Right? And it says, the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So all of the so-called distractions and whatever you want to call it, man, is not going to exist in that time, because people are going to look at reality smack dab in the face, man. You see? All right? But pretty much, man, we're seeing the another actual what we want to call it scenario that can pretty much is pretty much going down, and people really not seeing how this can really fester and expand, and pretty much people that are pretty much right now living from barely living from paycheck to paycheck, how they can easily be in a situation as a squatter, man. It's real simple. Okay, all right. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakodash, Shalom Akim.